kimchi beni. Yes. Did you even try? Am I even going to give you credit? Is that funny? Is that humor? It's Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another mukbang. Today you're watching another episode of Munching Mondays, which is my mukbang series. Mukbang is an eating show, so we're gonna eat together and we are going to chat. So if that's your thing, then don't forget to subscribe and thank you for joining me. So today, guys, I thought it would be really fun to do a virtual brunch. We can have brunch together, and I have a feast in front of me, as you can see. So for today's brunch, I brought a bunch of food from my vegan cafe, SaVeg Cafe, here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I am so excited. So I guess this is kind of like my support local series, except for it's food from my cafe, so hello, support my cafe, thank you. So here we have the famous no eggs beni. So this is our vegan Benedict. Sorry if the lighting is a little bit off. The vegan no eggs beni. So this has basically English muffin, spinach, tomato. We make a coated tofu thing, which is kind of like the egg replacement. And of course we make the hollandaise sauce, the vegan hollandaise sauce in-house. And we have some avocado on top, and then there's salt and pepper. Oh my God, it is so, so good. And then I got a side of our air fried potatoes, and then I put some ketchup on the side, of course, because I gotta have ketchup. And then I also have our scrambled tofu, and it comes with toast, and I got a side of the Korean savory lentil pancakes, which are so good. I'm so excited. Our scrambled tofu has tomatoes, mushrooms, green onions, and smoked tofu, and then of course our special seasoning, and it's super good. And it comes with 2 pieces of toast that have vegan butter on them. And I even have a little side of kimchi. And you guys are like, you're gonna have kimchi with your brunch? Yes, my friends. Kimchi goes with everything, just FYI. And the pancakes come with this pancake sauce, which I'm going to just open up right now. And of course, with brunch, you gotta have your drinks. I feel like you need to have a minimum of 2 drinks with brunch. And one of them is, of course, coffee. So I have my black coffee here. This, again, I got from my cafe. I even stole a cup from my cafe that looks fancy, like I'm going for brunch, you know, like. So we get our coffee beans from a local roastery, is that what they're called Phil and Sebastian, and they're like completely local, and their coffee is so good. So we have that, and then I have a little makeshift mimosa. This is actually, I guess, a virgin mimosa. This is basically orange juice, and I mixed it with grapefruit bubbly to kind of make like a, I don't know, a mimosa. Is that kind of, it's, you know, it works. Let me try it. It's so good. I mean, it can't not be good. There you go. You gotta have a mimosa or something with your brunch, right? Or like an orange juice or something, you know? Anyway, guys, I am so excited, so let's dig in. Ooh, of course I gotta go for the beni first. We're gonna do a big bite of the beni. Make sure I get enough sauce. Ooh, yum. Cheers. See, the lighting is really weird. I apologize, guys. Let me have a potato chunk. I gotta go in with another bite of the beni. Guys, oh my God. I'm sorry, but this mixture is heavenly. It is heavenly. You know what I really miss? Bottomless brunch. When I lived in London, they had this thing called bottomless brunch. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have bottomless brunch where you guys live? Let me know. They have bottomless brunch where you go and like get brunch, but then you can get like bottomless mimosas. Oh my God, it was so great. Scrambled tofu. Yum. With the toast. Let's go into the Korean savory lentil pancakes, one of my favorite things. I don't know how to describe this flavor, but it's so good. It's very, very savory, so it's definitely, it's nothing like a sweet pancake, okay? Just letting you know. This is for later. Piece of banana bread. So yeah, anyway, when I used to live in London, we would go to bottomless brunch, and it was like a whole thing. I feel like brunch is like a very, I don't want to say it's North American thing, but it's like an English speaking countries sort of thing, is it? Because I think brunch is quite big in like Australia as well. But when I lived in like Italy, there wasn't really, I don't remember there being much of a brunch culture. But that was also like many years ago, so who knows? Maybe things have changed, I don't know. So I do apologize if I have to keep adjusting the height of this table. I feel like it keeps going down every time I use my knife and fork. Another bite of the Benny. Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm also going to have a piece of kimchi with it. Kimchi Benny, yes. That actually goes so well with the Benny. Seriously, kimchi goes with everything, you guys. Everything that's like savory. I'm gonna put some kimchi on the scrambled tofu. Have a big old bite of that. So yeah, brunch must be some kind of Commonwealth countries sort of thing. I'm trying to remember if in London it was like a, I know that bottomless brunch was like a thing. I mean, people in like the UK, they like their, you know, full English breakfast. That's kind of like, it's kind of brunchy, you know? But like in North America, people are like crazy over brunch. Okay, it's like a thing. I'm like, sorry, but especially the non-vegan brunch, I'm like, that egg is costing you like $20. I'm like, you really gonna pay $20 for a fried egg? The problem with brunch for vegans, unless we go to a vegan restaurant like mine, it's like so shit, you know? If you're lucky, they might have a scrambled tofu and that's gonna cost you like $20 and it's probably not that great because like a non-vegan made it, you know? But usually it's like a bowl of oats or like a smoothie bowl, like acai bowl or something, which you know what, I like, but also, ugh, it's so crap. You know? I generally try to avoid having brunch in places that aren't vegan, you know? Because they're gonna charge me like $17 for scrambled tofu in some place that doesn't even know how to make scrambled tofu. No thanks, you know? But that's generally my complaint with like most places that make vegan options. Like, listen, I'm happy when they at least try. There are places that actually like are non-vegan establishments that have like legit like delicious, filling, satisfying vegan meals. But some places I'm just like, did you even try? Did you even try? Is this even considered anything? Am I even going to give you credit? So I'm gonna complain about something that I've already complained about on social media. I made a video on TikTok and also on my Instagram complaining about that. I actually am thinking of making an entire video on this on YouTube because it's like pissing me off so much. It's like the more I think about it, the more annoyed I get. But it's that Gordon Ramsay video. I really wish vegans would stop sharing because it's so annoying. It's like the video where he's like, I'm going vegan for lunch. And then he makes like the saddest looking thing I've ever seen in my life, which looks like it takes about 12 hours to make. Seriously, this kimchi with the Benny, oh, so good. Anyways, So basically he makes this like eggplant steak, or what he calls eggplant steak, where he just like takes an eggplant and like puts a bunch of stuff on it. And I'm sure it's good, okay? Eggplants are good, I like eggplants. But like, first of all, you expect me to eat this and get full? People just assume that if you're vegan, you just eat vegetables. This is the biggest problem. People don't realize that there are other ingredients, you know? There's beans, there's tofu, there's lentils, you know, there's nuts and seeds. There's so much more that you could use. All kinds of different grains. I mean, there's so much you could use. And all these like fancy like chefs, especially these like fancy chefs, for some reason, they just always use like a carrot or like a cauliflower. And you're just like, do you just think that we don't get hungry or something? Or do you not understand the concept of like caloric density and like protein? Like, let's just say I've already extensively complained about it, but I want to complain about it more. The thing is, again, I'm not knocking the art of making something, you know, maybe taste like whatever it is. But I feel like with the eggplant, you're just trying to make it look like a steak, but it's not actually a steak. Like, are you just calling it a steak? I don't know. Maybe it's like the same concept of like a cauliflower steak where you just kind of like grill something and then it's like called a steak because it's like grilled. Anyways, it's indicative of a bigger problem of people not understanding how to feed people properly, and that there are other ingredients in a vegan diet other than just eggplants and cauliflower and jackfruit and mushrooms. Can we stop? Can we just stop? And the more I see it, the more I'm just like, oh my God. Listen, some people commented, they're like, well, he served it with like potatoes, and how he made it, he added so much in it that it's gonna be like at least 500 calories. Because I was complaining, I was like, that's not enough calories. You know, that is not enough calories. Apparently an eggplant has about like 25 or something calories for 100 grams, okay? And a steak apparently has 275 calories for 100 grams. Yes. Already it's like very low in calories, and people are like, well, he added a bunch of stuff like vegan butter. I'm like, okay, that does not count. Sorry, but it doesn't, okay? It's like just pure processed fat, and it's not really giving you anything. Like, it's not really gonna make me full. It might make me feel sick, but not full, okay? So don't give me this, okay? And you know that even with like regular steak, they put like seasonings in it or whatever, and they might cook it in butter and stuff, so it's not like, anyways, ugh. Like, would it kill you to add some beans in that dish? You know what I mean? Like, why do you even have to make it like a, you know, a steak sort of thing? Like, you could have just made a vegan dish, like, you know, just a vegan dish, and it probably would have been better. And honestly, vegans do a much better job at imitating like non-vegan food than non-vegans, if that makes sense. Sorry, but I do not give him credit. I was trying to give him credit. I was like, at least he tried, you know, at least he tried a vegan dish. No. Someone on his team was like, okay, this vegan thing is trending. We gotta do this. So yeah, I tried to give him credit. I was like, at least he tried a vegan recipe, but also I'm just like, I can't give you credit. I'm sorry. Oh. And the thing is, people are like, oh my God, he did this and this and this. He served it with potatoes, so it's okay. Okay, don't you serve regular steak with potatoes? That doesn't count. It's not anything additional. Like, you're trying to replace an actual steak, replace it properly. Ugh. Alright, I know, it's not that deep. I get it. Don't worry. I'm not trying to cancel Gordon Ramsay, okay? This is a bigger problem than Gordon Ramsay. This is about these chefs that make these mediocre vegan meals, and then we're supposed to praise them because they did something vegan. It's like, no, you made a side dish. Sorry, that doesn't count. That's a side dish. That is not a vegan meal, okay? If I have to eat a protein bar after I eat your meal, that is not a meal. What's the point of brunch if you can't complain about everything in life, right? Every time I go to these like fancy, kind of relatively like expensive places, now they're doing these like vegetable dishes, which great, vegetables. But like, Would it kill you to use some tofu? Like, I don't understand this like aversion to tofu, or like literally beans, lentils, like anything that's going to be, you know, sufficient in protein and calories. And the worst part is, these are the same people that'll complain like, oh my God, vegan food, it's like not filling enough. I'm like, well, that's because you're eating a carrot. No one's gonna be full from a carrot. So that's my complaint about the Gordon Ramsay dumbass steak video. Yes, I said it. That brings me to like one of the points I made in, I think, my unpopular vegan opinions video, where it's basically like eggplant, mushrooms, and jackfruit are not substitutes for meat. They're not, okay? People need to eat properly. Here's the thing. This is part of a bigger problem because people eat, they don't know how to eat, right? They look at dishes like that and they're like, oh, okay, cool. That's a vegan dish. That's a vegan option. They'll eat that and then they'll become hungry very quickly, because just because it looks like a lot of food doesn't mean that it's equivalent. Just because it's the same size as a steak doesn't mean it's gonna give you the same, you know, calories and protein. So people are gonna eat that and then they're gonna become hungry in like an hour, even though they had it with the potatoes. And then they're gonna be like, oh, well, like vegan food just makes me hungry all the time. It's like, no, you just don't know how to eat it. And you had it made from somebody that doesn't know how to make vegan food. Ugh. More mimosa. Cheers. I actually really love orange juice, but I don't keep it in the house because I think I would drink it like every single day, and it's pretty much just sugar. So when I have it, it's like very special, you know, because I don't keep it in the house. But you know one thing I didn't like? Sunny D. I never liked Sunny D. I remember when I was a kid, all the kids were like obsessed with Sunny D, and I was like, this tastes so fake. It tastes like I'm drinking like chemicals or something. Very strange. Is that still a thing? That's basically just like chemicals. That probably is pretty much chemicals. This with the kimchi is beyond delicious. Giant bite. Oh my God. I remembered something else that annoyed the crap out of me about that Gordon Ramsay video. I think that whole thing just annoyed me. Everything about it annoyed me. One thing I love is like when everyone started bashing it, like people tried making it. They're like, this is not steak, even though it's kind of obvious. I feel like that video is just like something that represents everything I hate. I don't know, just everything. Society. When the dude's like, oh, I'm going vegan, makes like the most mediocre thing ever. And then he's like, for lunch. I'm like, okay, first of all, is that funny? Like, is that even funny to non-vegans? Like, I don't know. Is that funny? Is that humor? Did anyone believe it for a second when he said I'm going vegan? Like, come on. The dude has been bashing veganism for so long. We know he's not going to go vegan. These chefs that are on their high horse, you know for sure that they're not gonna go vegan. Like, they have like a thing, okay? Anyways, fair enough, whatever. But what bothered me more was the eggplant. Let's be honest. What bothered me more was the eggplant. I think also it's like this concept of these chefs that make fun constantly of veganism, and then they make this like dumb thing that's not even good. I mean, maybe it's good, but it's not a meal. And then we're supposed to like praise them. You have all these like vegan outlets like posting about them. And again, no shade toward these vegan outlets at all. I get it. Like anything vegan that pops up, it's like kind of news. When celebrities like eat a vegan meal, it's like apparently front page news. I get it, like sharing it, whatever. Like again, I'm not condemning these vegan, you know, news outlets or whatnot. But like, do we really need to praise this? Like this guy again has been like making fun of vegans for years, and he makes like some dumb dish, and now like all the vegans are like, oh my God, he made something vegan. That doesn't count. I'm sorry, I'm being a negative Nancy. I know, maybe I should encourage people to, you know, try out more vegan food. And it's always good when somebody makes one step toward the right direction. But sometimes I'm like, is the bar really that low? Do we really need to encourage this behavior? Like, is it so crazy to have a slightly higher standard for what we praise? You know what I mean? Like, just because a famous person makes a vegan dish or eats a vegan meal does not mean it's something that we should just praise immediately, okay? Let's just, you know, have higher standards maybe. Anyway, guys, that's me being a negative Nancy and a vegan hater. Gotta have another little piece of this delicious pancake. Oh, Korean pancakes. Have you guys ever tried Korean savory pancakes? There's many different kinds. There's like chives. There's that's so good. There's many different kinds, but savory pancakes are so good. The whole Gordon Ramsay thing reminded me of just how much people don't really seem to get the concept of caloric density and like volume of food. People like don't understand this. Like, just because something is a big thing doesn't mean that it's gonna be filling. For example, I had this one encounter when I was traveling. I think this was when I was traveling in Montenegro. I was doing like a short little Euro trip in Eastern Europe, like Central and Eastern Europe. And I went to Montenegro, which is like a small little country in Europe. And it's so beautiful, by the way. It's like very underrated and not as traveled, but it's really, really nice. I was there, I was staying in a hostel. And I remember I made a random meal. I went to the grocery store and I just like made something. And it was like nothing crazy, but it was like mostly veggies. Like the whole plate was like probably half veggies and then just like a small amount of something else. And this guy like saw my meal and he was like, wow, you can really eat a lot, or something like that. I mean, I can eat a lot, that's for sure. And I was definitely not like offended or anything like that, but it was more so like, do you not, like, he can see the plate and it's like literally mostly veggies, like greens and stuff, you know? And then there was like maybe a small amount of beans or something. It was probably like 500 calories, like that plate. It was like not much. And I'm just like, do you not understand that just because it's large doesn't mean it's like, you know, a large meal? Like, do we not teach this in school? Like, I don't understand. So, I don't know. That's just one of the things that annoy me. One of the many things that annoy me. So yeah, I feel like going vegan has taught me so much about how little people actually know about nutrition and how much they think they know about nutrition. They know like very little, but they think they know everything, you know? Like, I'm not saying I know everything. I definitely don't. But a lot of these people probably know less than I do, and then they think they know all of this stuff, which they don't. I'm gonna eat this last potato. This is going to be safe for later. I'm gonna get a little more coffee. And for dessert, I have some banana bread. This is our vegan banana bread from the cafe, and this is so good. Yeah, it's just very good. A lot of people get surprised. They're like, is this vegan? I'm like, yes, everything in our cafe is vegan. Food makes me so happy. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to my TED Talk. New news stories that come out is when people are like, oh, this celebrity is eating a mostly plant-based diet and they talked about it on their Instagram. I'm like, is this news? Again, I don't want to slam any news outlets or anything like that. And I'm sure, you know, that's part of their job. Like, they're creating content for the internet. And if you're only talking about something like veganism, there might be, you know, it might be kind of dry out there. So I get it. So don't go after these news outlets. I think they're still doing a great job. But sometimes I'm just like, this is not, no. Because the problem is when you like praise celebrities for doing this, and then later on they're like, oh, actually I'm not vegan. I actually stopped eating vegan because of this. Because these celebrities, they don't know what they're doing either. And they're probably not vegan for, you know, animal rights. And they're just like, you know, eating some kind of, you know, trendy plant-based diet. And I feel like in the long run, if we keep praising these celebrities that are like, you know, eating a plant-based diet and then later on quitting, it's gonna backfire. Miley Cyrus, anybody? It is kind of crazy though that some of these celebrities, they have like so much money, right? They can literally have people cook for them every single meal of every day. They can have like a private chef, and yet a lot of them still don't know how to eat like healthy or don't know how to eat properly. I'm like, why don't you just get like a nutritionist to cook for you every single meal? Like, these are very easy problems to fix, you know? Some of these problems that you're having, like, I feel like a lot of them are really easy to fix, especially with all the money that you have. Anyway. But I do remember, I think Oprah said something like this, because Oprah, you guys, if you guys don't know, Oprah is like very well known for yo-yo dieting. Like, she'll lose a bunch of weight and then come out, reveal her body, and then like months later she'll gain it back. And what shocks me is like, you are literally one of the richest people on this planet, and you can probably have somebody cook for you all the time, and yet you are still struggling with this so badly. And I think she said something like, you can have all the money in the world, but like if you don't have self-control or something like that. I don't know what she said, but basically like, it's kind of crazy how like someone could be in such a level of privilege in that situation where you can literally have a personal trainer, a personal chef to cook you every meal, and you can literally probably hire somebody to just like keep you accountable, just to like make sure you're like getting up and doing stuff, and yet you are still struggling with that, which is quite interesting. But I do think, especially during the time that Oprah was like going up and down with her weight, I think there's probably a lot of bad diet advice out there, and even people that were trained to do, you know, to do like weight loss coaching or something, they probably were like starving her. I mean, people are still doing this anyway. It's very interesting, isn't it? Society. Last piece of banana bread. I am so full. Yum. This is so good though. Oh my god. Oh, I'm sorry. No. I'm gonna have another piece. I can't help myself. It's so good. The problem is, guys, actually I need to do an entire like episode on this topic. But the problem is that we have too much food. We literally like created a society where there's just too much food. Like it's a lot of it's just like really unhealthy food that's become very readily available. And for our primitive minds, that is not good. It's very interesting. I feel like I need to actually do an entire video on this, because I think it's really hard. I was thinking about this the other day and I was like, it's actually really difficult for you to not be overweight. The norm should be that it should be very easy for us to be at a healthy weight, but it's actually like difficult. You have to actually try really hard to not, you know, be unhealthy and or overweight, because we've created the society where the norm is that you're gonna be overweight, unhealthy, and you have to like actively try not to, if that makes sense. Okay. That deserves a whole new video, but like back in the day, I don't know, like the early 1900s, did anyone actually have to try not to be like overweight? Or people, were they just naturally kind of, you know, at a healthy weight? But nowadays, in order to be like relatively fit or healthy, it's like a uphill battle. I feel like. And that's kind of messed up because now we've created the society where it's like very, very easy to, you know, become really unhealthy. That's not necessarily individual's fault. It's like the system that we've created, the food system, and how, you know, we're creating foods that are addictive to us, that taste really good. We're feeding it to our children. We're advertising it to our children. And then we become addicted to that food. And then we're expected to somehow like exercise personal responsibility when you've literally fed us all of this stuff. It's like feeding mice a bunch of drugs and then telling them to like not be addicted to drugs. You know what I mean? It's like you created this, like you did this like human experiment. Now I have to exercise personal responsibility. Oh, it's very interesting. Yum. Oh, I feel like I want to eat this whole cake. Okay guys, I've decided that today is brunch day and I'm gonna finish this thing because it's too good for me to leave. I can't stop eating it. I feel like our bodies, we are still kind of like in that primitive physical state, right? It's not like we've evolved much physically in the last however few hundred years, right? So we're still in that kind of same body as the people that were hunting and gathering and doing all this other stuff and living without food for a while and constantly having to look for food. And yet we have the resources where you can literally get food immediately as soon as possible. We also keep food in the house. Like I have plenty of food in the house to survive for at least a few weeks probably. And so with all of this food and no food scarcity, it's no wonder, you know, we can't stop eating. I don't know. What do we do, guys? What do we do? We need to somehow rewire our brains to really enjoy healthy food. Because the reason why a lot of like fatty, sugary foods are tasty to us is like, I believe it's like a survival mechanism. It's like an evolutionary trait because back in the day, again, when you didn't have a lot of food and you didn't know where your next meal was coming from, actually probably the healthiest thing you could find is something that's very fattening, you know, high in calories, high in fat, high in sugar, whatever it is, because there was a scarcity in food. So in order for you to survive, you got to eat something that's like really, really like filling and that will sustain you for a long time. That's high in calories, high in fat, high in sugar, whatever it is. At that time, that was probably the healthiest thing for us. It was a survival thing. But unfortunately, we're not in that survival, well, not unfortunately, but we're not in that survival stage anymore. But we still like those foods more because we've evolved to like those foods because the people that survived, our ancestors that survived, are the ones that ate those foods in order to continue to survive and live. Because people that found celery delicious, they're long gone, dude. That's not gonna give you enough energy to sustain yourself, you know? So people always ask like, oh, why is it that the most delicious foods are the most like unhealthy for us? Because I believe that you weren't supposed to eat them in a large quantity. The point was survival, right? But now we have them in large quantities and that's the biggest problem. If we were eating like mostly vegetables or mostly like really healthy food and then once in a while had something like really high in fat, that would be no problem. So yeah, when people ask like, oh, why is it that the most unhealthy, high fat, you know, high calorie, fattening foods, why is it that those foods are the most delicious? It's an evolutionary thing. We've been designed that way and we are so far from nature now, I guess, that it's now detrimental to us, you know? Anyway, so somehow we're gonna need to rewire our brains, our taste buds, to really enjoy the really healthy food. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know I love healthy food and I do eat, you know, healthy food, but let's face it, like celery, broccoli. Would I rather have a piece of banana bread? Yes. Guys, I am so full and satisfied. so that was brunch with Rose. Woohoo! Did you guys enjoy having brunch with me? Maybe next time we'll make it a boozy brunch. Yes. I hope you guys enjoyed having brunch with me. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you guys want to chime in on any of the conversations that we had, if you want to leave your comments and your opinions down below, then feel free to do so. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!